Bulan 2 sa Tolu FM, enaban 2 raki-raki.
Bula FM namban 2 inosor.
Go etabo ke boto kola sa Bula FM nga.
Bula FM namban 2 korbu.
Bula FM namban 2 sawa.
Bula FM namban 2 lotoka. Bula.
Namban 2 nang Bula FM memba.
Bula FM
namban 2 NSR in Singapore.
Kalau talita kita warung nang Bula FM lotoka.
Ali akar warung Bula FM namban 2 NSR.
Bula FM namban 2 NSR.
Tonight, Australia and New Zealand lift sanctions. Election supervisor assures of free and fair polls. And $70,000 stolen in supermarket break-in. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The governments of Australia and New Zealand have finally lifted the sanctions on Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama's government, military, government appointees and the judiciary. Mikalonga reports the decisions come after 7 long years.
It seems the Bainimarama government has played its cards right. This morning, the Australian government, a day after Bainimarama announced his party lifted all travel restrictions on Fiji. Australia's Foreign Minister, Julie Bishop, says this decision follows a review of Australia's travel sanctions announced during her visit to Fiji on 14 and 15 February. She says it's in line with Australian government's policy of re-engagement and normalization of bilateral relations with Fiji. It follows the significant progress Fiji has made towards holding elections by September, as recognized by the Pacific Islands Forum Ministerial Contact Group during their visit to Fiji in February. Bishop says Australia welcomes the opportunity to support Fiji's return to democracy within the Pacific family and is confident that lifting travel restrictions will lay a framework for closer dialogue and cooperation on bilateral and regional issues. Australia's foreign minister added she will work with the government of Fiji to support Fiji's 17 September election preparations. Meanwhile, New Zealand Foreign Affairs Minister Murray McCully has announced his government's decision to lift all its travel sanctions against Fiji. He says they are happy with the progress Fiji is making towards holding free and fair elections with the more than 500,000 people registered to vote and Commodore Voreqe Bainimarama's decision to step down as the head of the military. New Zealand is happy with the publication of the electoral decree, the appointment of an election supervisor and the announcement of the elections on 17 September. McCarthy says this means New Zealand will throw its full weight behind supporting Fiji's return to democracy and normalize its relationship with one of its closest neighbors.
Excellent decision, a great decision. I think it's a lot of for us in Fiji, we should be proud of that. Yeah, it's a lot of things that we look forward to. As for so many years now, we've been, praying about it and looking forward for those decisions, especially Australia and New Zealand.
This is better and easy now. To go.
The Bainimarama government stood its ground for 7 long years against the sanctions by Australia and New Zealand and delivered on its promise from the start to return the country to democracy when the time is right. Mikalonga, FBC News.
The government says it's pleased with the decision of Australia and New Zealand to lift all existing sanctions against Fiji. In an official statement this afternoon, the government stated the sanctions were ill-conceived and served only to discourage talented and qualified individuals from serving the people of Fiji. The removal of sanctions is viewed as a positive step toward restoring normal relations with Australia and New Zealand, and the statement noted relations between the people of these nations has never weakened. Election Supervisor Mohammed Saneem took office today and said a lot of work lies ahead in preparing for the September polls. For Saneem and the Elections Office, it's time to hit the ground running to ensure that everything is in place 5 months from now. Edwin Nunn reports.
Mohammed Saneem has assured that the Elections Office will operate independently and without fear or favour to maintain the trust of the Fijian people.
In all elections, we will uphold the fundamental principle that every Fijian has one vote and all votes are of equal value. It is our duty to ensure that all Fijians over the age of 18 have the opportunity to exercise their constitutional right to vote. We strive to be professional, just and transparent in our work.
He and his team now face the daunting task of putting in place the groundwork for Fijians to go to the polls.
Our priority right now remains that we have to set up the Fijian Elections Office to be able to deliver 2014 elections. A lot of processes have been set up and are in place. The only thing now for us is with the decree and with the support of the Commission to move it forward.
Saneem says the planned voter education campaign will be a massive exercise since the one-man, one-vote system is new. While there is no date set, it should be kicking off soon. The Electoral Commission has shown faith in Saneem's appointment.
We would have basically lost 2 or 3 months. So we really needed somebody who had some experience and who knew the background. And really, at the end of the day, Mr. Saneem's name was put forward to us. And he, as you all know, he had the advantage of continuity. He knew how the systems worked, and we worked with him.
The election will be held on September 17th. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
The developer of Fiji's first ever casino project has promised to complete the long-delayed venture towards the end of 2015. 100 Sands Limited is expected to pay over 4.5 million Fijian dollars in fines by the time construction is completed due to more than 2 years of delays. And as Christopher Chand reports, owner Larry Claunch has today promised to complete the casino.
Heavy machinery rolling out what will hopefully become Fiji's first casino. A project which has been under a cloud of uncertainty over the last 2 years is now showing signs of progress.
Is that true that you had a lot of financial problems? That's why the project didn't go ahead?
Well, not really financial problems. It's been self-funded, but of course it's a very big project. It's a lot of money, and you need someone to provide funding. And unfortunately, some things happen within Fiji from key people in Fiji that really hurt us early on, and it took a long time to recuperate from that. But now it's fine.
Claunch did not reveal what exactly happened that affected 100 Sands Limited, but seemed to be happy being back in business.
Have you collected enough funding now to complete the project?
Yeah, the funding will come in steps. We have the first phase, and then we'll go to the second phase. But now that we're doing this, nothing can stop us. So.
The developers have set a timeline of 18 to 20 months to complete the project. And although the design plans are still being finalized, we have been told that the casino will be built on that part of the land, and the resort and convention center to my right, and revelations that they will also build a marina.
We've made a few design changes, and we're going to have a marina, which is a huge plus now, where the yachts can pull in and step up and gamble. So there has been changes, but the five-star nature and the original design and everything, we're sticking very close to that. You know.
Claunch has faced the odds in recent times, and with the government pressure to finish the project on time, he now has to ensure he doesn't take any more risks while gambling for the final big play. 100 Sands Limited is showing signs of better days, but with a reputation for long delays, it'll take more than just heavy machinery work to convince everyone that this project is going to be a winner. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Delays in Mahendra Chaudhry's trial, that's coming up.
Today FM is #1 here in Singapore.
We love Today FM in Lambasa. It rocks!
My favorite station in Nandi is Today FM.
Listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks in Sabah.
Lotto kasi love today's kid music.
I love Today FM because they play all my songs.
We love Today FM at Vuniva Lambasa. Yeah, it rocks!
I love Today FM because it rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Police are looking for 2 men who robbed a supermarket at Sports City in Laudala Bay, Suva last night. Spokesperson Ananai Soro says an investigative team is now working around the clock on the case. Vosita Kotewasawasa reports.
Management at this Laudala Bay supermarket say the robbers stole a substantial amount of money at 10:30 p.m. last night.
The thieves broke through one of our doors and took away with the cash around 70,000 and recharge card worth of 20,000 from the office.
Staff of Nayan's supermarket are trying to work out how thieves managed to spot their office, which is hidden behind some shelves.
It seems that way that they knew the place well. When we open the shop, we see the office door open and the safe like damaged. We did not go inside. We just come and check the doors, and one of the doors was broken.
Meanwhile, police are converting the security footage to ascertain the identity of the thieves. Vasita Kotewasawasa, FBC News.
The ongoing trial of Fiji Labour Party leader Mahendrapal Chaudhry could not start properly today as his new counsel applied for the presiding judge to excuse himself from hearing the case yet again. This is the fourth time that Chaudhry's lawyer have asked presiding judges to disqualify themselves from the case that accuses the Labour leader of not declaring details of his foreign account worth over 3 million Fijian dollars to the governor of the Reserve Bank of Fiji. Chanel Sivan is following the trial.
The Chaudhry trial proper, which was supposed to begin today, has been delayed after defence lawyers filed yet more applications before Judge Justice Paul Madigan. This is the fourth time Chaudhry has attempted this. The first application was made before Justice Daniel Gounder, and 3 applications have now been made before Justice Madigan. It took Justice Madigan less than an hour to dismiss the application. The judge questioned Chaudhry's newest lawyer on how arrangements will be made to pay the Judicial Department for costs. Chaudhry is charged with 3 counts relating to alleged breaches of the Exchange Control Act. It's alleged between November 2000 and July 2010, Chaudhry had 1.5 million Australian dollars or over 3 million Fijian dollars in Australia without the consent of the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Fiji. Chaudhry had earlier admitted that this money had been given to him by the Indian government. State lawyer Clive Grossman told the court this afternoon they are prepared and waiting for the trial to begin, as this is not the first time Chaudhry has made such an application, causing delays to the trial. Another application was made this afternoon by Chaudhry for a trial within a trial to find if the search carried out by police at his home was legal. The trial proper is expected to commence after this if more applications by Chaudhry is not made. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama opened 2 new teachers' quarters at St. Peter Chanel School in Korolevu, Singatoka today. The project cost $125,000. The Prime Minister says he's pleased the new quarters will improve the living conditions of teachers at the school.
Without doubt, educating our people is the best investment we can make in the future of our nation. I'm proud that government is now providing free tuition for primary and secondary school to all Fijians, fulfilling the promise made by our new constitution. And because of this free education this year, we see more students enrolling in schools. Even students who had dropped out are now returning to secondary school.
St. Peter Chanel School has almost 400 students from 10 villages and 5 settlements. Sports is up next. Elena joins us tonight, and what have you got for us?
Thank you, Jackie. Well, we wrap up the Hong Kong Sevens coverage and find out more about Athletics Fiji's cleanup campaign.
Ito singato kung talita na warong na Radio Fijuan na station yang mutua.
Ako na poro na talita. Mandaw talita gini na warong Radio Fijuan.
Kitong isu untuk talita na warong na Radio Fijuan na station yang mutua.
Kito talita ka na Radio Fiji 1. Na Radio Fiji 1 and daw talita kita lang Singatoka.
Station in Matino Pinatia na Radio Fiji 1. Kumpara Kayanyan.
Na Radio Fiji 1 nandumay bitin ponga ni BNN.
And finally, the win in Hong Kong sees the New Zealand side take back the lead on the IRB World Series points table. The Kiwis with 136 points have a 5-point lead over South Africa, while Fiji remains third. The battle between New Zealand and South Africa will be decided in the last 2 tournaments in Scotland and London. Meanwhile, the pools for the Scotland tournament are out, and Fiji is in Pool C with Wales, Argentina, and Kenya. The Scotland tournament will be played on May 3rd and 4th. 2 days after the Athletics Fiji AGM in Nandi, the newly elected executive committee is moving full steam ahead to restore the association's image. New President Dr. Ayodi Alakija and her troop are determined to get the Athletics Fiji house in order, beginning with clearing a $30,000 debt left behind by the previous administration.
There is a paper evidence that can be given to everyone, then we can say, I was at the right forum, that was the right forum.
The recent feud within the Athletics Fiji administration has opened up a poor governance can of worms dug up over the last 10 years and revealed at Saturday's AGM.
A lot of people had heard, whispers and various things, but they hadn't really seen evidence of documentation, which they requested at the meeting, which was shown to them. They didn't have the full picture.
It's no secret that many athletes have lost interest in a sport they once loved.
Lack of structure for them in many ways, that athlete retention was an area where we were doing badly. They weren't being given opportunities. The funding was a major issue, that there was no funding in place to ensure that they had what they needed.
Making matters worse is the fact that Athletics Fiji's accounts have not been audited since 2010.
From a governance perspective, a sport isn't being properly managed. It filters down to the athletes, it filters down to the track, to the road, to the cross-country situation. It filters all the way through. That, I think, for me, was the key issue.
It's time for damage control, a challenge the new committee is ready to face head-on.
We will get an office set up. We will begin to put structures in place for our athletes and for our coaches and for our technical officials. We need to get courses in to train up, mass training.
Reports will be sent to its parent body, the IAAF, for surety that Athletics Fiji is finally back on track. Previous administrators have refused to comment on the latest development. AS Pirae has had the best build-up to the OFC Champions League after the side won the Tahiti Football League, beating Tefana 5-1. The side is pooled with Waitakere United from New Zealand, Samoa's Kiwi FC and Solomon Warriors from the Solomon Islands. The win is one better from the last season, where Pirae finished second and now focus on the trip to Fiji.
To win this tournament, this championship of Tahiti, and it's good for us because now we are preparing the OFC League, and to finish the season with a large win against a very good team make us very happy. Our target, we are going to be qualified for the semi-final, so we want to play very well and very strong.
That was your sports for tonight.
The Unit Trust of Fiji has paid a dividend of over $119,000 to the government. Receiving the check this morning, Public Enterprise Minister Said Qayyum commended the publicly listed company for their continued payout. Said Qayyum says the trust has made significant developments in terms of new products, and last year they paid $3.75 million as dividends to unit holders. He urged the management of Unit Trust to attract more people to become trust holders.
Whether it's trying to attract landowners, members of landowning units to use their lease monies to invest in these types of opportunities that the Beni Marama government is creating. This is one means of saving, it's one means of getting a good return on the money that you would have.
The dividend paid by Unit Trust to the Fijian government has increased progressively over the past few years. Weather time now in Jen. We had such a lovely day. I have no complaints.
That's good to know, Jackie, since you're always so hard to please. Looking at the map, it was sunny across the country, with just a few cloudy periods in Suva and Lambasa. So it was clear blue skies for most of us. In case you're wondering, a clear cloudless daytime sky is blue because molecules in the air scatter blue light from the sun more than they scatter red light. When we look towards the sun at sunset, we see red and orange colors because the blue light has been scattered out and away from the line of sight. Now for temperatures, Bai and Lambasa are the warmest at 32 degrees Celsius, while the Hidden Paradise is the coolest on 30. It's around 31 degrees Celsius right now in Samoa and 28 degrees Celsius in Tahiti. Tomorrow sees showers in the morning for Suva, with fine conditions for everyone else. Cloudy weather, however, will occur towards the afternoon for most major centers. Here's a shot of the Denarau construction site, and I'm sure they were glad it didn't rain today. Remember, keep sending in those photos because you just might see yours up on the screen behind me.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. Recapping the headlines, Australia and New Zealand lift sanctions, election supervisor assures of free and fair polls, and $70,000 stolen in supermarket break-in. Results from last week's poll question, we asked, do you think Piotr and Setefano the Cow revitalised the Fiji Sevens team? A very convincing 93% answered yes. This week's question, we're asking, should women form their own political party to contest the September 17th elections? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's news for tonight. See you again tomorrow evening.
Tale tak na radio Fiji One na mwirani nonda bunua.
Ando tale tak na borrongo na radio Fiji One singa toka mbole tani station ni alumatua.
Ando tale tak bale una borrongo na radio Fiji One station ni alumatua ilo toka.
Ando tale tak bale una borrongo na radio Fiji One landi na station ni alumatua.
Au tingoi korbo. Ando borrongo leve na station ni alumatua na radio Fiji One.
Ando borrongo na radio Fiji One na station ni alumatua na mandoi tele.
Na radio Fiji One nando mwivi tina honga ni bienen.